to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Mr. Gibson.
Commissioner Meeks.
Present.
Commissioner Eichmeyer is absent. Commissioner Dogger. Commissioner present.
Present.
Commissioner Zimmerman.
Here.
All right. Need a motion to approve the minutes of meeting held on March 20th of 2023. Do I have a motion?
I'll make it.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Roll call, Mr. Gibson.
Commissioner Meeks.
Yes.
Commissioner Eichmeyer absent. Commissioner Dogger.
Yes.
Commissioner Zimmerman.
Yes.
All right. Visitors tonight. Yep, lots of old business. So, any visitors? Taking none, we'll move on to reports. We would like to offer a moment of silence for those affected and families of those who lost their lives in the severe storms we had Friday night. Welcome to this evening's meeting, the election city council meeting. We have breaking news. The Mount Carmel City Park bathrooms are open. So,
And clean.
and cleaned. I had quite a few people who have came and messaged over the weekend and everything, but they finally, the good weather is here, so they're open to stay for the summer. Hopefully they'll make it to about November 15th. We've got something new on our city website. We've talked about the lead service line project that we have to do. We have to know what type of line that comes into your home. This is not us being nosy. This is the state and federal governments that want to know. So if you go to www.cityofmountcarmel.com, you go to forms, and then it's under breaking news.
Actually, if you just go to the home page under news and hit the spotlight, you can click on the link. That'll take you straight to the page, and then the forms page is on the forms section.
But anyway, identifying your service line, whether it be lead, galvanized, copper, or plastic, or unspecified. Then at the bottom, once you have looked at that, there's a link to submit a survey. Survey's very easy to do. I started with Commissioner Meeks. It's your first name, your last name, and this is who the water bill is registered in, please. The phone number, the address, an email address, if possible, account number, if you have it. If you don't, then just put something in there like 1, 2, 3, 4. Type of occupancy, do you own it? Rent or tenant? Commissioner Meeks, what type of service line do you have coming into your house?
I have copper.
I'll let you say that because I knew it. So anyway, source of information, visual inspection, lead test, plumbing records, scratch test, and others. Commissioner Meeks knew that, so he was a visual test. You click submit, and it has been submitted.
Good, I can take care of one of my.
Mr. Gitcomb and Mr. Brian Cropper will get that survey. And what this does, it keeps us from having to knock on your door. If you would go and do this, it saves us time, and we can take and download that in directly into a spreadsheet, and then we'll know that you have filled it out, and we'll just bypass your house when we do the door-to-door survey this summer. So we ask your cooperation and help in that. I want to wish all the candidates good luck tomorrow. I know not everybody will win, but to put yourself, but not that, just put your family in the public eye to run for elected office of being school board or joining us at this council table demonstrates great passion for your community. And that's, appreciated very much. Last week, the executive team, being Ryan Turner, Hannah, Mike Gidcomb, Dave Easter, and myself, had a meeting. And we talk about all these projects that we're doing here within the city of Mount Carmel. And we we kind of put together a project summary of what Mike will work with Commissioner Dolger, Commissioner Meeks, and then Commissioner Eichmeyer on the money. But we have over 30 projects that we're going to try to get accomplished this spring and summer. These projects range in size, but we'll need every last day to finish them. And with the city of Mount Carmel going to a public works concept, we're able to do a lot of these projects in-house. So I really want to thank all the employees for their dedication to not only our community, but the city, and then the commissioners for working with these employees. Last week, Ryan Turner and myself traveled to Washington, D.C. and proposed several projects for Mount Carmel and Wabash County. We met with Dick Durbin, Tammy Duckworth, Mike Bost, and many others from Illinois. And some of the projects we proposed for funding were levee improvements, which it is a very large expense. Right now, we need to replace just the water wells that it's kind of, I don't know how you would put it. They call them water wells, but they're not really water wells.
Clear wells.
What's that?
Clear wells.
No, on the base of the levee. They call them clear wells? Okay. But basically what they are is when the river gets up, a little bit higher than what it is, instead of breaching the levee, the water travels underground looking for the least path of resistance, and they basically pop off and they allow the water to come in on the non-river side. That alone is $130,000 that we're going to have to do here in the next 2 years, let alone everything else to keep the levee certified in compliance. So it is an ongoing thing, and we're trying to get some funding from the state and federal government to do that project. We also talked about the city pool project, trying to get some funding for that also, and several other projects that they're very expensive. So we hope that our time will lead to funding for the projects that we got to talk about. Anytime you get in front of these politicians up in DC, it's a very, it seems like it's only seconds, but with Dick Durbin, he was real good. I got 30 minutes with him, and then about 45 with his staff. Tammy Duckworth was about the same. Mike Bost, it was like 15 minutes. But anyway, still very well worth the time to have these guys and gals one-on-one to talk about our projects. May 20th, Commissioner Zimmerman and I have been working on getting an electronic recycling event back to Mount Carmel. We've not had one for several years, and we've been able to do that. So May 20th from 9 a.m. to 12 noon, 520 West 9th Street, which is Shopco parking lot. This is sponsored by the First National Bank of Allendale, Mount Carmel, and Carmi, and the city of Mount Carmel. So something that we had talked about multiple times on getting, and it came together really fast today, last minute. So anyways, most items will be recycled for free, but they will charge for some items. So be prepared that if you pull up and they say, yeah, that's free, but that's $30, it just is what it is. Some stuff that they'll take back for free if they can take it and refurbish it, and other stuff that they know they're going to have to break down and cost them money to do so, they're going to charge you. So we look forward to that event. I believe that's all I have. Commissioner Meeks.
Thank you, Mayor. The mayor mentioned the bathrooms are open at the city park. For those of you who have small kids, the kiddie land, we've got the dirt out there ready to go. We just can't get to it because it won't stop raining. So it's nothing we forgot about. We just haven't had the opportunity to get the dirt worked up and get stuff in place. Street department, the last 2 weeks, we continue grinding stumps. I think I mentioned last meeting, if you have a stump in your front yard that is actually on the city property, let us know. We will come and take care of it as soon as possible. We assisted the water department in a water main break. Continue filling potholes, same with the stumps. If you have a pothole that needs filled on your street or any street you see, make a note of it and we'll get to it as soon as possible. They installed a new toilet at the senior citizens. I know Joe's glad of that because he is one now. Repaired the sprayer on the street sweeper. It was not making a wide enough path to do a good job, so they got that taken care of. Did some dirt work for the firing range at the police firing range. Install new lights at the 4th Street softball park. Floodgates are in place, and some safety training on our bucket truck. That's kind of a dangerous job if you don't know what you're doing, so we're trying to get those guys, like Joe said, since we have gone to the Public Works, trying to familiarize everybody with some cross-training so we can have several guys that can do the same job. Into my report, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner Meeks. Commissioner Eichmeyer is absent. In him being absent, he did tell me to pass on that they have been working diligently on the budget. You guys have been emailed the first read of it. Everything so far looks very good. We are actually kind of almost reinventing the wheel this year with the budget and how we do it, and with the assistance of Kemper's and our auditing group out of Carmel. They feel that we can condense some things and make it a little bit easier for us to understand in the future. Commissioner Dogger.
Thank you, Mayor. Keith will be draining and cleaning the clarifier and the basins next week. He is also still running the pump stations due to the river level, and he is currently working on the annual consumer confidence report. And once that's available to the public, I will let you know, or whoever takes my seat will let you know. That should be coming, though, in the next couple meetings. Maintenance department retired a water service line that had been installed for the football field construction. They took that out. They turned on the bathrooms at 4th Street in the park, and everything else is just normal maintenance on our current sewer system that they do every 2 weeks. Sewer department changed oil and filter, sharpened blades for the mowers. Floodgates were shut and the pumps were on. The final clarifier motor was rebuilt and installed, and then the first quarter sludge report was finished, and we pressed 64.7 dry tons of sludge. Into my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Dogger. Commissioner Zimmerman.
Thank you, Mayor. The fire department had 9 events this past 2 weeks, and one of those is Chief Speth took several people up to Robinson to assist with the search and rescue and whatever need they needed up there at that time on Saturday morning. So I want to thank the fire department for doing that. This is big trash pickup, so the big trash trucks are out collecting. If they did not get yours today, that doesn't mean that they are not getting it at all. That does not mean that you can go and put stuff out on your curb now. Everything should have been out by 6 this morning. The trucks will make their way through town throughout this week. They will not go back, so if they've already been past your road, they won't go back and recollect. So kind of keep that in mind. As Commissioner Meek said, the brush truck's been out and running, and they're out collecting some of the brush that's going on. And then, as Mayor said, the electronic recycling event will be on May the 20th. Into my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Zimmerman. Mr. Turner's not here. Mr. McCullough.
Thank you, Mayor. The only new thing I have to report this week is there's a couple ordinance violations for animals running at large. I just point out that can create a dangerous situation, so that's something we take serious. And if you have animals, keep them on a leash or keep them in a pen. That's the end of my report.
Thank you, Mr. McCullough. Chief McWilliams.
No report.
Chief Speth.
Like Commissioner Zimmer said, we went up and helped Robinson and Palestine this weekend with all the devastation they had up there and stuff. It's a lot of it, and there's a lot of unfortunate people, but sometimes we have no control over it, so hopefully we can stay lucky like that. So other than that, Mayor, that's about all I have.
Thank you for being up there. I know I talked to County Commissioner Chair Bill Berg multiple times on Saturday, and I know me and you were going back and forth on equipment and stuff, and they appreciated all the firehouses coming up. So, all right, Mr. Gidcombe.
All right, first of all, for Mr. Turner, we're going to be accepting bids for a 2013 Ford 4-door. This is a non-running vehicle, and we'd like to have those bids turned in by April the 17th at 3 o'clock.
I was was gonna say, along with multiple parts missing off of it,
Yeah.
it has a blowed head gasket.
Okay.
So, correct? Is that what it was?
I've forgotten about the vehicle, it's been so
Yeah.
long, but yes, it's inoperable and, it's a Ford Taurus, police package, but it's, gonna need some work.
Where did we put that one at, Mike?
It's down on the railroad, the yard down there.
Okay, in the yard?
Yeah.
All right.
Why did we not just scrap it?
Huh?
Why did we just not scrap it?
Because you get, what, $175 a ton scrap? And that'll probably bring $1,000+ from a salvage yard.
Okay, also, you've already brought up the first reading on the budget. The keystone that is on there for new, we'd like to go ahead and hold that off until April the 17th as well. That's the discussion on the solar project. End of my report.
All right, thank you, Mr. Gidcombe. All right, consent agenda, paying all bills, providing signature. Do I have a motion?
I'll make it.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, Mr. Gidcombe.
Commissioner Meeks?
Yes.
Commissioner Eichmeyer is absent. Commissioner Dogger?
Yes.
Commissioner Zimmerman?
Yes.
All right, so going to old business, and before we start talking about that, the river lots that are in discussion are not behind the seawall that we're talking about tonight. Did you guys have something else you guys needed to discuss about river camps?
Wondering about the river camps behind the wall.
Nope, not up for
Stay.
discussion.
Stay.
You guys are good. That's why I wanted to ask and make sure you understood
That's the
that.
main thing. Okay. Cool.
So,
Well, then we can leave.
if you guys would like to leave, you may. Like I said, we're just talking about the river camps that are on River Road. So,
Talking about mobile dock and everything,
The hydraulic,
mobile dock.
over the levee,
Yeah, over the
hydraulic
levee.
cabinet.
from, where Bill Dowdy was, down to Mr. Peaches. That's all we're talking about this evening, so.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I'm a small engine tech, and, if y'all need some small engines looked at or taken care of, I'll be more glad to do it for you.
Well, I appreciate that very much. We might look at it.
Pumps, generators, anything like that.
Thank you.
Lawnmowers,
I know where to find you.
weed eaters, chainsaws.
You know where to find
Yes, sir.
I know where to find you.
In the summer, he'd be down there.
Remember, I'm down there, but I got
Yep.
like a mobile repair shop on my truck now.
Oh, okay, cool.
So, and I do sharpen chainsaw chains too.
What's your name, sir?
Earl Weekly,
Weekly?
Weekley.
What's your phone number?
It's 618-240-3954.
Okay, thank you.
And if you have something late in the evening or night, just give me a call. I'll be more than glad to go out.
That's great. Yes, thank you.
And I can do it on site if I have to, if I have parts.
Okay.
If not, I have to wait until the next day to get it. But otherwise, I might be able to fix it then.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, so Mr. Peach came last council meeting and asked about the proposal of potentially selling the river camps down there, several lots. Does anybody have any discussion about that?
I'm gonna sell it. That's my discussion.
Would that be something that we would utilize, that the city could utilize at a later date to develop?
Well, the problem with developing them, the areas like where Mr. Peach is at right now, down to Bill Dowdy's, the banks are pretty steep. So other than river camps, and they flood pretty easy. So if we would do any real development or anything else, it would be probably across the road where we own.
Mr. Mayor, it's also hit and miss where we own and where,
Yeah.
so you've got privately owned lots down there in between. So if you're thinking of a large project area, we would have a large project area.
And if we did a project down there, the city or anybody, it would be very hard to get a loan with it being in the floodplain. So,
Well, it would end up like the boat ramp, every time the river goes down, you got 6 inches of mud on it, so if you build a bike path walking path. Every time that happened, you'd be down there washing it off, so
Yeah.
I don't really see that we would have any use for it.
The 3 lots that I've got to the south, are probably less than 50 foot deep.
Right.
Now, the 2 that are closer to the property I own is fairly good lots. If you would decide to sell them, I'd put a bid in there that you'll come out all right.
Yeah.
If somebody goes ahead of me, then that's their business.
Do these 3 lots?
They're gonna have to shell out some money to do it.
All together right now.
Okay. So do these butt up against your lots you own now?
Yeah.
On the north side. So, the one that Chris Dowdy's on right now is got intakes on it, and we cannot sell that one because we have infrastructure there. But from the Henson down, and like Mr. Gidcombe said, there's a jump in a couple of them, but anyways, I think, what is there, 6 or 7?
I think we've got like 8.
8?
Maybe.
Okay.
And those would also need to be surveyed, before we could actually put them up for bids.
Yeah.
Have you got that map?
Not in here.
I mean, do
Yeah,
you
we
have
do.
one of, where I did it with Don Price years and years.
We've actually got it on the aerial and the GIS, so.
Any other comments, concerns, or want to table it till Commissioner Eichmeyer gets back, or what we want to do? Commissioner Meeks has made I'll say motion, but a recommendation to settle them, a suggestion.
I would prefer to wait until we've got more of the council present.
Okay. Sounds good to me. We'll table it for 2 more weeks.
One other question.
Yep.
There's a lot that's on the, I'll call it levee side of the road down there too.
That would be the one as well that we would,
Yeah, we'd keep it where that silo thing's at.
he's talking about where the wooded area, the little wooded track is right there.
Pump jack on it or a well on it. that's-
Oh, okay, yeah.
Is that gonna be,
We would need to look and see how we can survey and break that down, whether we can,
Yeah.
so,
Well, maybe in 2 weeks, the river will be down and we can do a foot inspection.
yeah.
So, okay, sounds good. All right, does anybody have anything else to talk about this evening? Only once or twice. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make it.
Do I have a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those the same side.